A King and a Court of Fools by H. Ryan. Written by Larry Enright and read by Larry Enright. Copyright 2011, all rights reserved. Face to face. God invented parents to make sure that we don't have too much fun. Think about it. If we had too much fun, we'd never grow up. And if we didn't grow up, who'd run the trains and buses? Who'd build the bridges and buildings? Who'd run the country? Makes perfect sense, right? But there's more. God also had something else in mind when he made parents. He needed someone to make sure that the good guys got rewarded and the bad guys got caught. Think about that, too. You wouldn't leave that to a kid, would you? The Book of Tom had a point, and by the time we got home, we had decided that we needed grown-up help. Whoever stole the Pink Lady was out there somewhere, and we were no closer to catching him than the day we had discovered the car in the woods. We found Dad relaxing on the side porch, reading the Post-Gazette. Beside him on a tray table was a tall glass of iced tea, a pack of Winstons, his favorite cigarette, and an ashtray. Mom didn't like smoking and didn't allow smoking in the house. Banishing Dad to the side porch was her way of getting him to quit his pack-a-day habit. So Dad spent a lot of time on that porch, even in winter, and what had at first been an annoyance became his quiet time to enjoy the peace and serenity of nature and the taste of a good cigarette. Tom picked up a green and black striped caterpillar from the back page of Dad's paper. It had managed to crawl up an ad for the grand opening of 84 Lumber. He flicked it into the grass. "Those things are everywhere," Dad said. Sam squished one that was inching up the wall. "Don't do that, Sam. It stains the brick." "Yeah, it's really neat." "Tell that to your mother." "What are you kids up to today?" I rescued the caterpillar that Tom had launched into the yard, climbed into Dad's lap, and curled up against his chest. His heart beat reassuringly, reminding me that he would always be there for us, steady and sure, and we could always count on him no matter what. He wrapped his arms around me, tickling my neck with his chin, until I squealed for mercy. Dad never shaved on Saturdays, the only day he never shaved, and the only day you wouldn't find him in a pressed white shirt, black shoes, and tie. I think it was his way of showing everyone that a day off meant a day off. Kate and Mary flanked him and hugged him from both sides, smothering him with cootie kisses. One thing about Dad, he could spot a setup a mile away. "Either you kids want something or you did something. Which is it?" Tom produced the Pink Lady flyer and handed it to him. "We found the Pink Lady's car in the woods, Dad. Someone stole it and left it there. So we've been investigating." Kate continued the story. "But the boy who stole it has stolen it again, and we don't know who he is or where he took it." "And now we won't get our reward," Mary sighed. "Whoa, whoa, whoa, slow down," he said. "You found a car in the woods? A real car? This isn't one of your games, is it?" From its exciting beginning at the Jagger bushes to its disappointing end at Mr. Taylor's house, we retold the story of the Pink Lady, of discovering the car, finding the bag, following the trail to the Finnertys, meeting our new friend, Mr. Taylor, the whole story. Every so often, Dad asked a question, but mostly he just listened until we were finished. Even the little caterpillar in my hand seemed to be listening, wiggling its antenna every so often at something Tom said, or looking over my finger intently and nodding at Kate when she explained some important detail that Tom had glossed over. "Well, that's quite a story," Dad said when we'd finished. "And you have this bag upstairs, Tom?" "Yes, sir, it's under my bed." "That must have been what you stuffed in the laundry chute the other night so I wouldn't see it, right?" We just looked at each other. Dad laughed. "What should we do, Dad?" Tom asked. "I think you have the right idea. Take the bag back to Miss Sims and tell her how you found it. There's nothing you can do about the car. It's gone, probably for good, and they may never find out who stole it. She'll understand that, and I'm sure she'll be happy to get her things back, especially her money and her driver's license. If she gives you a reward, that's fine, you can accept it, but that's not why you're doing this. You have something that belongs to her, and the right thing to do is give it back. It would be stealing otherwise. Cedar Mount was a good 40-minute walk from our house, and it was getting close enough to dinner time that we wouldn't be able to make it there and back on foot. Dad offered to drive us, so we piled into the Rambler and headed out. It was the first time I can remember that there wasn't any argument about who got the front window seat. Tom climbed into the way back with me and lay on his side next to the Pink Lady's bag, facing the wheel well. Kate, Mary, and Sam sat in the back seat. I curled up with my treasure chest, an old cigar box full of things I had collected. Each had an amazing story behind it. There was the golden stone that had come from the mines of mystery deep in the woods, and that piece of coal I had dug up from the foxhole. I knew it contained the Lost Hope diamond, but was afraid to break it open because I might destroy the precious gem too. And the ring I had found that belonged to a king of Egypt, that was my favorite. It was set with sparkling red gems and inscribed with intricate lettering. I loved to look at each of them and imagine the exotic places they had been and the exciting stories that people told about them. Dad tuned in the Pirates game on the radio. I wasn't really listening, but I knew they were losing when his commentary changed from urging them on to calling them bums. By the time we turned on Connor Road, they were down 2-0. It was a bad day for both pirates and adventurers. We passed our woods on the left, miles of forest, endless they seemed, a place filled with mystery and adventure. The red autumn sun hung low over the trees, promising a tomorrow filled with good things, yet none of us felt any joy in that. None of us argued, or annoyed each other, or joked around, or laughed, or said one single word. We were used to stories with definite endings. They might be happy endings, or they might be sad, but they all had endings of some sort, all except this one. Our adventure was a song without a final chord, a game called On Account of Rain, a book with the last chapter missing. Tom seemed to take it particularly hard, ignoring everyone and everything, blocking it all out. I closed up my treasure chest, stretched the gum band around it, and slid it under the wool blanket Dad kept in the back. That blanket, a box of Band-Aids, a little green toolbox, a milk jug filled with water, jumper cables, a tire iron and jack, and several outdated maps were the spare tire's constant companions in the back of the Nash Rambler. Dad was prepared for any eventuality, from freezing cold to boo-boos to breakdowns, and at every opportunity impressed upon us the importance of our being prepared for every eventuality as well. And we usually were, just not this one. We turned off the main road past the Cedar Mount sign and wound back into the neighborhood of expensive large houses. This was where the doctors and big businessmen like Dad's boss lived, and other people with money, like famous race car drivers. Tom read off the address from the Pink Lady's driver's license again, and the girls did the job of house number spotting, counting them down till we were in front of her driveway. "This can't be right. The house isn't pink." Mary strained to see around Dad, but none of the houses farther up the street was pink either. An aqua-blue Chevy Bel Air station wagon was parked in the driveway. "The car's not pink," Kate said. Tom lay on his back, bouncing a tennis ball against the car's fabric roof. Maybe the guy who took her car took her house, too. The dirt left little dirt half-smiles behind, diminishing in size with each bounce. A few more bounces, and there would be no more smiles. "Tom, please stop that," Dad said. "This is the right address. Do you kids want me to come up with you, or wait here?" Tom was our leader, even when he didn't want to be. It came with the territory of being the oldest. We had our share of arguments, no doubt about that, but on the important things, when a decision had to be made to stick together or fall apart, he made the decision, and we stuck together. The tennis ball thumped off his chest and rolled onto the blanket. "We'll be right back, Dad." Everything was perfect in the Pink Lady's yard, like something out of a movie. The weedless lawn was beautifully manicured, the shrubs shaped and trimmed flat across the top, the flower beds mulched and filled with color. Even the trees looked like constructed props, so perfectly rounded was their foliage. We looked like a parade of munchkins walking up her driveway. AJ was right. The only thing missing was the yellow brick road to the front door. Tom rang the bell and we waited. The door was opened by a teenage boy wearing jeans and a brown and gold Property of Cedar Mount Pharaohs sweatshirt. He was old enough to have to shave daily, but hadn't for a few days, and looked pretty tough with a half-smoked cigarette dangling from his lips. Scratching the 2-day growth on his chin, he sized us up and took a long drag on his cigarette, blew the smoke at us, and slammed the door in our faces. Kate looked at Tom. Now what? Mary tried to peek in the window, but thick floral drapes made it impossible to see inside. I told you this isn't the right house, she said. Tom rang the bell again. From inside we heard voices. Our friend opened the door. Didn't you get the message? Scram! We don't want any Girl Scout cookies. He tried to push the door closed, but Tom stopped it with his foot. It was a trick he had seen in an old movie, one he used on us all the time. The boy pulled the cigarette from his mouth and spit into the bush. Move it or lose it, Junior. We're here to see Miss Sims, Tom said defiantly. She's not here. Then who were you talking to? Kate asked. None of your business. What's it to you, anyway? We're here to return her bag. Tom held it up for him to see, but yanked it out of reach when the teen tried to grab it. He flicked his cigarette into the driveway. Hand it over, now. Tom just stared at him. Dad called to us from the car. Come on, kids, it's almost dinner time. The winner of the staring contest is the one who doesn't flinch. The loser is the one who gets punched in the arm. The other guy was clearly the loser by looking up at Dad, but Tom didn't punch him. Give me the bag and get out of here, you little creeps. Who's at the door, darling? The voice floated from the house like sweet cotton candy clouds at Kennywood Park. The air changed like it does on a hot summer day when an unexpected shower cools everything off and leaves behind a fresh, clean feeling. Then I caught a whiff of Mom's cashmere bouquet bath soap, the same soap Mary used to sneak into Mom and Dad's bathroom to wash her hands with so they would smell nice. This then changed to the smell of flowers so strong that Sam sneezed. Tom's adversary backed up a step, and there she was. Her hair was long and blonde and curled up at the ends. She had creamy, blushing skin that reminded me of fresh peaches from the farm market, and her lips were redder than any cherry popsicle I had ever seen. She was wearing a pink blouse, pink pants, and pink shoes, and had a smile that could melt the heart of any 10-year-old boy. We were face to face with the Pink Lady.